Some new developments with our tropical system in just the last 20 minutes. We now have some thunder and lightning and the first tornado warning down closer to the coast. I'll show you when we could see that and how much rain before this all moves out.
Duke Energy is keeping teams on standby just in case the wind and severe rain brings down power lines. Our live team coverage of the system straight ahead.
Also breaking news this noon, the man suspected of trying to kill former President Donald Trump at his Florida golf resort is charged with 2 federal gun counts, and more could be added. The rain and wind we are seeing out there is from a tropical system that will continue to intensify through the afternoon hours. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Thanks for joining us. We have live team coverage of the storm's impacts and how emergency crews are preparing. We begin with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a look at how much rain we will see through tomorrow.
Definitely parts of the viewing area seeing big changes from just the last hour or so. As I mentioned at the top of the newscast, we've got a few thunder and lightning bolts, especially down here in Sampson County. And this is the first tornado warning that we've seen close to the coast or in any part of North Carolina as the system is coming on shore. We've also really seen the rain pick up across most of the viewing area, especially from the Triangle area southward. We'd had some heavy rain earlier this morning down around Fayetteville and Sampson County, and now that's really starting to move up through parts of the Triangle. We'll zoom in here around Raleigh. It's still on the light side around Durham and Chapel Hill, but all of this is going to continue to lift northward. Some steady to heavy rain in Raleigh, all the way through Wilson's Mill and Smithfield. We head down to the south, Fayetteville, which has already seen almost an inch of rain so far. Southern Pines, Clinton, seeing that steady to heavy rain. Here's a look at downtown Raleigh. This is Fayetteville Street from our Jimmy V camera. Just saw somebody walking down the street, definitely holding that umbrella as it is really messy out there right now. How much rain so far? Well, only in Raleigh, just a few hundredths of an inch, but down in Fayetteville, we've seen almost an inch of rain, about 3/4 of an inch in Clinton, and a little over an inch in Goldsboro, with a lot more rain to come. It is a WRAL Weather Alert day, so we have a flood watch. We have a level 1 risk for some severe storms for tornadoes, as we're starting to see some of those along the coast. And we also have a wind advisory, winds gusting 20 to 40 miles per hour. This storm may never get a name. It has 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's going to make landfall, move onshore here in South Carolina and move into the mountains of North Carolina, but it is going to bring us a lot of rain, as much as 2 to 5 inches. Our wind speeds are starting to pick up, some gusts, 24 in Clinton to 22 over there in the eastern part of the viewing area. We have a wind advisory in effect for many counties, and of course we also have that level 1 and 2 risk closer to the coast for some severe storms. So we'll talk more about when the heaviest rain will arrive where you are coming up.
Elizabeth, thanks. We are tracking the system to keep you and your family safe, and emergency crews are taking steps to keep the power on. WRAL's Eric Miller is live with a look at the work that's taking place as a result of the potential for severe weather. Eric, what are you seeing at this point?
Oh, Renee, this storm already given these Duke Energy crews something to do here. You look off to the side, you can see folks from Alltech going up in a bucket right now to inspect some of the repairs that have just been made here in the last couple of hours after a tree came down. We're on Timber Drive, right at the Barksdale Drive intersection. That's right off Crabtree Boulevard. You can see that tree there off into the distance a little bit. An oak tree that came tumbling down, pulled down power lines, snapped a power pole clean at the top. This all happening about 3 hours ago. This initially put about 150 customers into the dark. That is now down thanks to the efforts of these crews to only 9 people without power. Still, those folks likely to be in the dark until about 1:15, 1:30 this afternoon. That's how long it's going to take to really wrap up the work here. Statewide, what we're seeing at this point, just a scattering of outages for the most part, and mostly just a couple dozen people at a time who are without power. Still, this is a storm that Duke Energy has been keeping a very close eye on. They have been staging men, staging equipment, doing all of those preparations as this storm moves closer. And as things start to get wetter, and as those winds start to pick up, we know it is going to get even busier for these folks here on the ground. Send it back to you guys inside in Raleigh. Eric Miller, WRAL News.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, we're giving you a look at what it looks like outside. This is actually the WRAL tower cam overlooking southeast Wake County. At first, I thought there was something wrong with this camera. There is not. You can see the top of the tower cam right there. So just a lot of cloud cover and rain coming down right now near our studio. And then I want to show you some pictures along our coast, courtesy of Surf Checks. This is Wrightsville Beach right now. You can see the big waves and a lot of whipping wind there. The raindrops on the camera. That is Wrightsville Beach. This is a look at downtown Wilmington. Earlier, about 15 minutes ago, it was not raining. Now the rain is coming down very hard there as well. Not to look, another look at downtown Wilmington. I'm going to keep an eye on these cameras and bring you the latest from the Live Center.
Michelle, thanks. You can plan ahead for severe weather with the WRAL News app. It allows you to watch radar in real time to see when storms are in your area. Be sure you have the WRAL News app installed on your phone. Turn on alerts to get notified about severe weather in your location. It is free wherever you download your apps. It is 12:16, and it's a good bit that they'll have indoor recess today, given the gloomy conditions out there and that rain falling steadily. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center watching these waves of rain from this tropical system.
And this is going to continue well into the day tomorrow. So we're going to end up with some pretty impressive rainfall totals, most likely in some places. The steadiest rain is happening from Raleigh southward right now, but it is likely that this will continue to move northward, and we'll still have some pretty hefty rainfall totals up near the Virginia line. But the heaviest rainfall is certainly going to be the closer you get to the South Carolina line, because that's where we're closest to the actual center of this storm. So you can see the yellow shaded areas now showing up from Wendell to Raleigh to Apex to Garner to Holly Springs. It's a little bit lighter in Durham and Chapel Hill at this point, but all this will lift northward. We are now starting to see a few lightning bolts show up just in random locations. We're not really looking at, those dark orange, or red cells popping up, just sort of in this whole wave coming through. We're seeing some scattered lightning and thunder, some of that near Clinton this morning, and that continues as we get into the afternoon, some thunder and lightning. It, of course, is a weather alert day today. We have a flood watch for 2 to 5 inches of rain, a level 1 risk for severe storms, potentially tornadoes, especially from Raleigh eastward, and we now have a wind advisory that was posted just about an hour ago, 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts, but some places may end up with 40 mile per hour gusts. Here's a look at our flood watch, and it does include the entire area, but the heaviest rainfall will be down toward Fayetteville and into Sampson County as well. So far, we'll start north, and we haven't seen a whole lot of rain north of Raleigh, about 1/10 of an inch or less in Raleigh, but about 1/2 inch in Fuquay-Varina, looking at about 1/10 of an inch in Siler City, over an inch now in Fayetteville, almost an inch in Rayford, about 3/4 in Clinton, about 1/2 in Irwin, and about 1/4 in Smithfield. So these heavier rainfall totals will start to build as we get through the next several hours. We've had a couple of tornado warnings that have popped up near Wilmington, and look at all that lightning all of a sudden that just popped up there in the last hour, clustered around the Wilmington area. That's close to where the center of circulation is. At 3 o'clock, it'll look very similar to the way it looks now. The heaviest rainfall in the south, but those showers continuing to spread northward. There's 8 p.m. and here's 11 p.m. and we'll take it on out to around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We still have the rainfall, and the axis of heaviest rain as we get into tomorrow will actually move up to some of our northern counties. So we're looking at as much as 2 to 2.5 inches, maybe 3 inches in the triangle, about 2 to the north, and as much as 5 or more in some of our southern counties. Wind also a potential issue. Our wind is coming out of the east, gusting to 26 in Clinton and 25 in Goldsboro right now. We do have that wind advisory. We may see some gusts 30 to 35 and some isolated 40 mile per hour gusts. That means some isolated power outages. There may be some pockets from Fayetteville toward Wilmington where they're more scattered, which means we would see more of them. We take a look at the radar, kind of focus down here toward Wilmington, near Carolina Beach, and then up around Onslow County. A couple of tornado warnings there. And we've also had a lot of flooding happening at Carolina Beach and also at Wrightsville Beach. So we have the best chance of tornadoes closer to the coast, but we do have a level 1 risk in some of our eastern counties. We take a look at what we're expecting for the rest of the day. A heavy rainfall. We're looking at the potential for flooding and some wind gusts, as well as isolated tornadoes in our eastern counties. Tomorrow we continue with the potential for rain, but it does gradually taper off later in the day. But still, we're not finished. We still have more showers and thunderstorms in the forecast through the end of next week. We'll talk about how much more rainfall we could get coming up.